usually it goes off the rails, and I got to try and pull it back, and we'll just see what happens.
I love that.
Right
I
on.
love that. All over it.
Okay.
Are we... you probably started recording when you walked in the door.
Yeah, he
didn't
started
you?
recording
We
like
recorded
half
this
an
whole
hour
thing,
ago.
didn't we?
Yeah, we've been rolling, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Okay.
Well, let's get this show started, right?
Do it. All right. Welcome to my dad's movie podcast. I'm Mick Johnson. I'm the dad. And with me, as usual, my son, my oldest son, Tabor.
Hey, I'm back. I'm here every
Where'd
episode.
you go?
Yeah, I went home.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I'm here.
Nice. And we also have my youngest son tonight, Alec.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, he is home from school on summer break. And so he's come home and he's living his dream of being a beanbag.
And we're forcing him to be on the show.
Yeah.
It's the only social interaction he gets.
Right.
No.
And tonight we have a special guest with us, Dallin Webb.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
So Dallin is an up-and-coming filmmaker out of Utah, correct?
Actually, out of Los Angeles, California, but I did come to school. So
nice.
You've been at school in Utah, but you come from Los Angeles.
Yep.
Nice.
Born and raised.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about you, what you've got going on and what you're working on and where you're headed.
Yeah, I mean, where do I start? I mean, growing up in LA, obviously that had a huge influence on me wanting to go into filmmaking. With a dad in the industry, father who's cinematographer on NCIS, the original. And
wow.
Yeah, it was, and although that did certainly have an influence, it's not that he ever encouraged me necessarily to go into filmmaking, but when I told him I wanted to go into filmmaking, honestly, he was like, oh, I don't know, it's a rough industry.
Right.
And it is. I'm learning that right now as we go, but I came here for school to BYU. And initially I was looking at the film program, but I wanted to go into writing. I really liked writing and directing. And
Okay.
I figured that I figured for a time I would take a look at other programs, majors, and see what I could land with. And I stuck with English creative writing, which I'm really happy I did because I felt like it helped build that foundation of that skill for writing, learning storytelling, character development, and all the pieces that go with it.
Right.
It worked. Now I'm graduated, trying to figure out what to do next.
Now what do I do?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's the hardest part.
My wife and I, we came down to a film festival that was going on down in Provo. And one of your movies, I don't remember, what was that festival called?
It was the Public Domain Film Festival.
Public Domain Film Festival. And we got introduced to a short film that you put together and directed called The Journalist.
Yeah.
So tell us about The Journalist.
Well, it's interesting because the process of the Public Domain Film Festival, they're how they run things and how they do things. They're very strict on the process of putting a film in, what we're supposed to write, how we're supposed to do it. Because the idea with the Public Domain Film Festival is that we take works that have just been released into the public domain of that upcoming year. So
Right.
2025, 93 years, I think, before. And we're supposed to take a work and adapt it. And it's interesting because we're supposed to not go over 5 minutes, and adapting 2 pieces of work, actually, technically, because they do it by a point system of like, oh, the more works you use and how you implement it, the more points you get to win Best Picture.
I see.
But it's difficult because it's 5 minutes of like an entire piece. Imagine taking like a Sherlock Holmes novel and bringing it down to 5 minutes.
Cram it into 5 minutes.
Yeah. On top of also trying to adapt, because they also want you to try to adapt a film piece along with that into it together. So it's an interesting system, but I really liked it because I've done it the last few years. I think I did it 4 times in a row. And because you only have like 10 days, or they pushed it to 2 weeks, but 10 days to write something and then to film it, edit it, and then submit it.
Right.
And in that time, I know 5 minutes doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it's a lot more difficult to pull off. If you want it to be good, it's more difficult to pull off in that amount of time.
Right.
So,
and usually you want it to be good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nobody wants to go into putting it in and saying, "Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be bad. I want it to be bad." No.
Right.
And it was really fun. I mean, Alec was a sound operator on it. Thankfully, he really helped make the project work with the sound. Because I've worked with some other people who do sound, and it's always been rough, and we've always had trouble. But Alec did it perfectly, and then he helped mix the sound and the dialogue really well in the edit, which I was genuinely really anxious about, but he made it work.
Yeah,
so.
Right on. Yeah, I knew Alec worked on it with you, and I thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, my wife and I, we both watched it, and we really liked it. We thought it was a really good story, and I thought it had some really, really cool scenes in it. It flowed really well. And like you just said, I thought the sound of it was good. It sounded clear. It sounded crisp. I didn't struggle to try and figure out what people were saying or what was going on. So that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That means it worked to some extent.
It worked. Yep.
Yeah, it always sound is always a worry for any of the projects that I do.
Mm-hmm.
If Alec is not on set and not in, the editing room, because that means I have to take care of it myself, and I'm not a sound guy. I'm not a mixer or a sound editor. And a lot of times I don't even capture good sound when I'm on set because I don't know how to do it that well. So anytime I have a project and Alec is there, it always changes the outcome of the project. I just recently did a short film called Bigfoot Falls, and somehow I was able to scrap together decent. I mean, the audio was recorded really well because we had people who knew what they were doing recording the audio. But when we got into editing, I had to edit all that myself, and that was an uphill battle for me. Just the post-production process for that entire short film was really rough on me, but we pulled it off. We did it. But it would have been way easier if I had Alec there. So it's always nice to have this guy. So.
No, Alec, this should be an hour praising Alec because he honestly genuinely making that, because I'm not a sound guy either. That I've tried learning it and understanding, and people have been like, no, the peak and put it here. Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around it. But and it's unfortunate because sound, I think you can get away with the film being visually not as amazing. Yeah. But even if you could have the greatest story, you could have the best cast and the best performances, but if your sound isn't at a good level, even if it's just okay, people will throw it away. People won't. And go ahead.
I was going to say, you could shoot a short film on a baked potato and everyone would be like, oh, that was an artistic decision. Mm-hmm. But it's never an artistic decision to have bad audio. It has to be crystal clear, or else people walk.
I know that we've been to a lot of different film festivals, these shorts and stuff, and if I have to work at trying to figure out what people are saying, or there's all this inconsistent up and down sound on the movie, it detracts from it, and it's really hard to stay with the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But because it was nice when, and I knew I had met Alec on another short film that we had did. I can't even remember what I did that night. I was actually
you were there.
I was there.
I just remember that I went on it because I think it was Adam asked me to help on it, and then I showed up and Matt was there, and I was like, "Oh, great! I always love working with Matt."
Yeah, and we and that's another thing. We can go on an hour talking about Matt because he's amazing.
That's Matt Arnson.
Yeah.
We did do an hour with Matt Arnson. So
yes,
yeah.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He helped a lot on that project, which we could get into. But with Alec, meeting him and seeing that, he walks in with that like sound, I don't know what it is, but like the sound mixing unit and stuff that he has hanging around him and stuff. And I was like, oh, like this guy's going to be good. And then when somebody was like, oh, hey, we can get Alec to be on this film, I was like, perfect. Please. He knows what he's doing. He can make it sound good. And it's nice to be able to hand that off to somebody and know that it's like, okay, I know it's going to be like, I know they're going to get it. I know they're going to get it done. It's not, I'm not worrying like, hey, did you get that?
One less thing to worry about.
Yeah. Yes. No, that I've learned that about, I'm not saying not that I made a dozen other films, but it's the more I do it, it's so nice to get people who are just reliable.
Yeah.
Who can do it. And I don't have to think about that. I can do what I want to do and think about what I need to think about.
A lot of my short films are very one-man army. Even if I have a lot of bodies on set, I'm still running those departments. So if I don't have Alec, my sound guy is someone who is, just a body on set. And I have to,
not to minimize the work that they do, but they don't know what they're doing.
But I have to supervise that department. I have to make sure that they're, writing the levels, just right, that they have the perfect mic placement. So every take is me telling everybody roll audio, and then I have to make sure that AC is slating properly because sometimes the AC doesn't know how to slate. So I have to go, okay, over here. All right, now you slate. Okay. All right, now can I have you lower the mic? No, I need it a little lower. Okay, now make sure your levels are up. All right, camera, is he in the shot? Okay, he's not in the shot, so let's go ahead and move the camera this way.
So you're like, give me the mic, give me the camera.
Yeah.
Give me the slate.
Okay, go sit down.
Yeah.
And it's hard with independent filmmaking because sometimes you just have to be a one-man band and like...
And sometimes you just have to use the people you have.
Yeah.
And, I'm grateful for everyone we've had on set. They do amazing work, but when someone walks in knowing what they're doing, I'm like, oh my gosh.
The amount of weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, I don't have to even think about the sound department because it is covered.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's nice because I know you mentioned with post, sometimes it can be crazy anxiety inducing for a number of reasons because you look back and sometimes it's not even like, oh man, I wish I got these shots, but it's like, how am I thought this is like, I felt like this was going to be better than how it's so far coming in like your first time.
Gosh,
and then
the most relatable thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And you get people to look at it and it's when they like when they're scrutinizing it and they're looking at it and it's all for good reason. They're saying this doesn't make sense. I feel like this needs to be rushed or this needs to be pulled back. And you're looking and you're sitting there like, why am I even doing this? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I going into filmmaking? But it was nice to even with that end because Matt's wife, Rachel Arnson, she helped edit and color the film. And she gave a lot of really good advice on that for me. And like, I let her, she was like, I mean, you can edit what you need to, which I did my final cut on it. But she's like, if you could just let me do the coloring. I was like, yeah, go ahead. Do whatever you want. I trust that you did. And she did great.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy Molman, who did the music for it and also helped with a lot of additional sound effects in post, who I really do also owe a huge allegiance to him because he, like, the night before we were supposed to submit it, I think it was the night before, there's some other things I was like, hey, I don't know how we're going to get this mixed together. Like we got the dialogue mixed perfectly. We got this done. We got some other sound effects, but I want to add these because I felt like it would help improve and like add other, music pieces and tracks. And he was willing. We stayed up until like 3 a.m. doing it and putting it all together and finishing. that portion of the sound. And it was such a blessing because that night I was like, I don't want to keep him up. I don't think we'll be able to get certain parts of this completed or done. And then he just looks at me and he was like, look, if we want to get this done, we're going to do it right. So let's just do it right.
Good.
Perfect. And it's nice to have people who feel the same way about your project, that they want it to be just as good as you do.
Yeah.
So amazing people. I got the best people to work on this.
Yeah, that absolutely helps.
It's good to have somebody that's working along with you that just keeps pushing things. Like for Bigfoot Falls, Tabor, you had Cody come over and you were up all night. You and Cody were up all night, but Cody was working on his project and you were working on your project. But the two of you just working together at the same time just kept motivating. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get it done.
You know what I've noticed on this podcast is that we talk about Cody Newton almost as often as we talk about Ed Rooney. So,
well, we have special guest Ed Rooney on tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. You ever see Ferris Bueller?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. Great stuff.
The principal, Ed Rooney, he's our running joke.
He's our go-to guy.
We actually Jared Lauder commented on our latest episode.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He's like, wow, this is the first episode you didn't talk about Rooney.
Did
and I was
we
like,
forget?
I was like, oh shoot, we forgot to talk about Rooney.
We can edit
We'll have to do the whole episode again.
We'll put it in there. Yeah, but can I say, of course I can. It's my podcast.
Cut this.
Yeah. I really enjoy what you guys have in Salt Lake with Alec and Matt. It's so funny is that you can say a name and he knows who that is. And we have that person on the show and they know who you are. It's this cool little community of people who know what they're doing. I mean, you guys are students and you're learning, but you guys have already learned so much and you guys are so smart and just so capable. And you have just created this little network of filmmakers. Are you back in Los Angeles?
Not right now. I do plan to go back eventually though. And that's, that is one difficult thing that it's like moving back there because there are a number of people that I want to stay connected with and enjoy working with here in Utah.
Yeah, your network's in Utah.
Yeah, and well, it's because they're, like I said, it's just nice because, look, I like to choose people that I genuinely enjoy working with, as well as people who, it's like, I know I always get told by every single person ever, they're like, well, sometimes you got to work with people who are just, they might be jerks, but it's like, yeah, but if I can choose, I'd like to work with somebody who's good at their job, but I also can have a good time with, and who can be honest with me about.
Oh yeah.
That's something with Matt I really liked is that and Alec can attest to this, that he's like genuinely one of the most nicest, patient, loving, kind people ever. He's really funny. He's really smart, works super efficiently, so well. And I really like how he works and how he lights and with his camera and composing and all that. Yeah. Super open to collaboration. But I'm sure Alex saw this sometimes on set. I'd be talking and I'd like want to try to do something. I'd almost start to take over with something. And Matt would just be like, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good. That's going to look good at all. And I'm like, all right, like it's nice that he feels comfortable to be blunt and not mean, but just say it as is.
Yeah. Right. But also you know his capabilities and you respect what he's saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Matt is very good at giving you what you want in a way that he knows is going to be best. Like he's never going to tell you you're wrong. He's just going to tell you the right way to do what you want, which I think is...
And also you're wrong.
Yeah.
On the side, you're also wrong.
Yeah.
I think my biggest weakness as a filmmaker is collaboration, because I've done everything so one-man band for so long that I'm not the best collaborator. But being able to recognize that is the first step to recovery. So I did a lot of collaboration with Bigfoot Falls, and there were some things where someone would suggest something and I was like, yeah, but that's not what I want. But then I was able to pull back and be like, okay, I see what you're saying, and that does make sense. So there was a lot of things that I changed that would have gone one way, but because I was willing and open to collaboration, we went the other way, and it ended up making things way better. But there was also some things that I stood my ground on.
Excuse me, heavens.
Yeah, heavens. There were some things that I stood my ground on, and I still think that that was the right way to go. So I would love to be able to be on a project where I can collaborate more and be able to have some more give and take with other filmmakers. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Yeah, Grandpa. Oh yeah, we're working on Grandpa.
We can do Grandpa, yeah.
Yeah, let's do Grandpa.
I'll finish up this draft and we'll do Grandpa.
When we talked to Matt, he was talking about that by the way, he didn't mention that his wife also does those things. So
we would have interviewed her too.
Yeah, I would have talked to her. And
well, let's call her out.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
But he was talking about that he is probably going to be working on a hockey movie.
Yeah.
And was interested in maybe talking to Alec about doing some work. And you're right, Tabor. I think that that's a really neat community. Utah has some really talented people. They work really well together. They put out some really good stuff. And so that's kind of cool that you guys are all together and can work off of each other and help each other, produce.
Yeah.
Well, what's nice about with the community, because I feel like, and this goes for any young filmmaking community, I think you come across people who are difficult in that I feel like we're all in the same boat, right? And we're all trying to achieve something, and we want to be good filmmakers. We dream of that, I think, all of us. And sometimes and this goes for anywhere. I'm not calling anyone out or talking out of school, literally, when I say this, but I think it's you come across a couple people every so often who have this almost this pretentious nature and this idea and ideology of what they want and how they do things. I've heard horror stories of people who almost down others because they want to be put on top in one way or another. But it's already so difficult, and especially in an industry where it's difficult to not just get in and get to where you hope to want to be, but especially right now where it's closed off, and after COVID and the strikes, and it's really difficult for anybody to find any work anywhere right now. We need to be like connected and supportive with each other and produce and say, hey, if you need this, I'll help you out. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the time it does consist of long hours with no money.
Yeah.
Often. Good food though, hopefully. Hopefully
yeah.
But
pizza. That's where the money goes.
that's all. Yeah, that's the whole budget. But it's nice to rely on people who are good at what they do, but then also like I said earlier, they want your project to be they want it to be as good, because I suppose it reflects on them of like, oh, like this is also my work. It's not just
their name is on it.
Film, it's everyone's film.
Yeah.
And they want it to be good. So
the journalist, what was the award you got?
Audience choice.
Yeah, audience choice at the Public Domain Film Festival.
Yes, audience choice. So the
Later
audience
sound
the audience voted right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
at that film festival. Yeah. And then later we got best sound at the it's not Final Cut.
It was First Look Film Festival.
Look at the First Look Film Festival, which I was happy about that. I was like, okay, the sound is recognized.
Yeah, I never expect to get best sound, but that's also because I never expect anyone to get best sound. I guess it's an often overlooked thing, and then when it's not overlooked, you don't often have people who really know much about it who are judging it, and so it's like,
it's true.
Right.
Yeah. That sucks because the thing is, I went up to pick up the award, and I was looking because I knew you were there.
Yeah, I didn't
Where's
see.
Alec?
I
And then I
didn't see your
walked back
text, and
with the
everyone.
award, and he's looking. He's like, "Hey," like,
I
what are you
didn't see
doing?
your text. I didn't know that you wanted me to go up and get it, and I didn't know if Jimmy was there or if you wanted him to get it. I don't know.
Jimmy wasn't there, yeah, but yeah, I was like, "Yo, if you win, go get it." And then nothing. I was like, "All right."
Well,
So
we were a little surprised at the award at the showing that my wife and I went to. We were a little surprised that it didn't win more there.
Yeah.
But we were kind of ecstatic that you won the audience award.
Yeah.
We thought that was pretty cool.
It was really cool. It was really cool because Alec actually later came up to me and said, he goes, I think you made that film for the audience. And there's something about it where I didn't even think of it that way. And it was, I mean, that's it, right? As a filmmaker, that's what you want. It's I suppose, and it actually helped kind of make me think about, if we are winning awards, like what are we doing it for? But for the attention of the audience, and it's not, I don't want to say this in like an egotistical way where it's like, oh yes, it was amazing, we did great, but it was so nice to, like, the fact that, because I was so anxious, I was really scared showing it to the audience that night. You're always worried, like, are they going to laugh at these points when they're not supposed to? And are they going to get scared when I want them to get scared? Or are they going to think this is cheesy and stupid? And the fact that it had such a visceral reaction in the room, it was palpable and you could feel it, was so exciting, and it made me realize, like, oh, this is what I'm here for. It's the reaction of the audience and how the fact that they're enjoying it that's the compliment. So
right.
And the thing is that when every filmmaker, I shouldn't say every filmmaker, but most filmmakers, when they set out to make a short film or they set out to make a movie, it always starts with, I want to show this to somebody. Mm-hmm. I want to show this to an audience. I have never started a movie and gone, oh man, this is for the critics. This is for the people who are voting for the awards. It's never started at the awards for me. It's always started off, I want to make a movie that audiences are going to love. And so the fact that the audience decided that they loved your movie the best, that's the goal. Mm-hmm. I would rather have a movie that people still talk about today rather than, a movie that won Best Picture somewhere,
Yeah.
Because sometimes, oddly enough, Godfather won Best Picture and we still talk about it. But for some reason, there's some movies that win Best Picture and they just disappear. You never hear from them again.
Yeah, and it's that's something, of course, when I was young, admittedly, I was like, man, winning Oscars and Best Picture and all that. And obviously, who's going to say no to an Oscar? Come on. I think everybody's acknowledges that. But I also agree where I think my mindset has changed the more I've been getting into it, where it is like, I want this to be good. I want it to be good and people to remember it and still talk about it. Like, I know that there's a lot of, people talk about, they're like, oh man, I want to make a film that is and they'll name the most obscure, random film you've never heard of in your entire life. That's like from the 50s, some Italian or French noir movie that is so abstract. And those are good, don't get me wrong, I've seen many of them and I think they're great. But like, if I was asked to make, like, not, I'm saying like this, if I was asked in the 90s to make Jurassic Park, I would totally do that. That would be so fun to do.
That'd be
even if I was also asked to make like anything, it's like, and if I liked it enough, I was like, oh, that seems like a cool idea or a cool story, I would do it. It's not about like, oh yes, let me make a film about, like, it shows an image of a toilet flushing and then an eyeball and then somebody's hair being cut and then dirt, and you're like, what does any of this even mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Jurassic Park didn't win an Oscar.
It did.
Did it?
It won sound and
special
visual
effects? Yeah.
Effects.
But it didn't win a Best Picture Oscar.
Well, it was the same year as Schindler's List, so.
Oh, well, yeah. Who can compete with Schindler's List?
Who can compete? Spielberg, both movies, crazy.
Yeah. But, that kind of reminds me of, did you see that video of Jim Carrey competing against himself in the Golden Globes for Dumb and Dumber and The Mask?
Oh.
So he was nominated for The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, and I think he ended up winning for Dumb and Dumber. And so he got up and he said, I just want to say, Jim, I'm sorry you didn't win this year. I'm really proud of you. You did a good job on The Mask.
Right.
But competing against himself, I thought it was kind of funny. But that's kind of what Jurassic Park and Schindler's List was. It was two movies, competing against each other. I heard that was really hard on Spielberg, though, being able to go from, a fun, nice little dinosaur romp to, the Holocaust.
I thought you were gonna go the other way and say a fun little set to something like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've heard I've listened to like every interview about both things and his sides and every detail about that process. Because I was like, how does somebody do that? I mean, this is a guy who also he'd been through a lot with Jaws and all that, but this was another level of like pulling through every emotion possible, like you said, like a fun dinosaur movie, and then making a film about the Holocaust that was I know he talked about the hardest day on set was a scene he shot on Schindler's List. He goes, it was just the most, it was, everything was painful. And then he goes, and then I'd go back to like our hotel room to sit down and look at CG dinosaurs for 2 hours. And he's like, I hated it. I'm like, how do you even do that? And then he makes, they're both great. They're both amazing, perfect level movies.
Yeah. That people still talk about today.
That people still talk about today and hold interestingly thematically for both hold a lot of relevance today still too.
Yeah. But we're talking about Spielberg, which is really cool, but we're here to talk about someone specifically today, right?
We're going to talk about Billy. No. So my understanding, the journalist that you put together, I had heard that Sam Raimi was somewhat of an influence on how you put that short together. Is that correct?
Yeah. But honestly, I would say a pretty big influence. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Sam Raimi, and I thought we'd talk about The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 tonight. Yeah.
Peak movies. Great movie.
So I saw the Evil Dead movies when I went to college. I think I've talked about this.
Back in 1942.
You dinosaur. No.
After you got out of the house and you got your own little
got my
room.
own dorm and
Right.
I was like, I'm on my own. I could do what I want. And my form of rebellion wasn't, doing drugs and drinking alcohol all the time. My form of rebellion was I'm going to watch every horror movie that my parents wouldn't let me watch.
Watching rated R movies.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I plowed through all the Chucky movies first. And then after that, I was just like, okay, let's see what else is out there. And so I think I Googled like, what is the scariest horror movie of all time?
You saw Chucky and you're like, not good enough. I need
more. I need more.
Like a doll running around with a knife. That's nothing.
I need more cowbell.
Yeah. And so I saw Evil Dead on that list. And someone else
that sounds scary.
Yeah, someone else had mentioned Evil Dead like a little bit before I started looking it up. So I was like, oh, that's the second time this has come up. Maybe I need to give this a watch. And so I watched the first Evil Dead. And granted, I had not seen a lot of horror movies at the time, but it was the scariest thing I had seen up until that point.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, man, this was like, even with the low budget effects, I recognized the low budget effects, and I was like, this is still one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And of course, I've seen scarier things since then, but at that time, it was the scariest movie I'd ever seen, and I was kind of uneasy for a little bit, and I was really impressed with it.
Mhm.
I liked it a lot.
Thought there was a deadite in your closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just under the bed. No, what's funny is that I had actually, when I was young, I would sometimes secretly watch movies that I wasn't supposed to on my iPod, and I got away with it pretty well. That's where I was introduced to like Tarantino,
Yeah.
like Scorsese, and all those movies. I don't. I probably shouldn't say it, but I don't regret it. I love the movies I watched. I hadn't seen.
Well,
I had heard.
your parents might hear this podcast, so just
Yeah, no, they know now.
Okay.
It's too late.
I don't want you getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh no. They're like, yeah, we figured. What can you do? But I did hear a lot about Evil Dead, but I hadn't seen it. I actually had watched the first and second Conjuring movies when I was in high school, and then with a friend we watched the first and second Insidious movies, and those movies were scary to me. The paranormal always had kind of scared me more than a serial killer running into your house or something like. Which I mean, it's scary. It's still scary. Probably more scary now to me, but. So when I came across Evil Dead, we just not long ago watched, I think I had watched Hereditary. Somebody suggested Hereditary to me, which that movie scared me. That messed me up, along with Barbarian, not so far from each other.
That's one of the movies. When Nicholas comes home, we're supposed to watch Hereditary.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I have not.
Oh, that is a heavy movie.
I'd say of all the horror movies I've seen, I'd say that's probably the one that I think is the scariest, is Hereditary.
Yeah.
But it's also one of my favorite movies. So
it's great.
Really? Yeah, no, that movie, when they're like, it's great, and it is, but I don't know if I can ever watch it again. It's for a month, I honestly woke up in the middle of the night in like a cold sweat, frantically, and you'll know what I'm talking about, Alec, frantically looking around my room
up in
because of
the
the scene
ceiling and in the corner.
Yeah, I genuinely, that's how much it affected me. So it did its job.
Yeah.
It's good. It scared me.
They wrote it for the audience.
Yeah, they wrote it for the audience. And but for Evil Dead, I remember talking to my roommate who Evil Dead Rise was about to come out, so there's trailers for it, and I'd heard so much about the Evil Dead movies. I was like, I really want to watch them. I think I'd really like them. And I was talking to, it's Sam Raimi. I love the Spider-Man movies. Those are amazing. So, my roommate though told me, he's like, I don't think you'll like it. He's like, just knowing you. And I'm like, what do you know? What do you know about me? But then I was worried. I was like, I don't know. Is it going to be bad? And I watched it, and it was, the first Evil Dead was, I loved it.
It's so good.
I loved every second other than like the tree.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody likes the tree scene.
That's like, I skip it now. It makes me feel uncomfortable, but everything else was great.
We haven't gotten into the movie part yet, but actually Sam Raimi, he didn't even like it.
Yeah.
He came out later saying, I regret putting that in there.
Yeah. And but
and then they put it in the remake.
Sort of.
That's right. In the reboot.
Not in the second one, but in the
2013
remake of it, they put that scene in.
Oh yeah.
There's a total of 5 Evil Dead movies now that are connected. So, and
then Ash versus Evil Dead, which is a great show.
I need to watch that.
That show is a blast.
So is Bruce Campbell, is he in all of them?
He's not in. Actually, that's not true. He is in the 2013 remake, but in a short, like 2-second cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, at the very end credits.
And in Evil Dead Rise, he does some voiceover work.
He bites an apple.
So he is.
It's not as Ash. So I wish he was in it, but still pretty great. Evil Dead Rise, I thought it was great.
Yeah, he's in the first 3 movies and the TV show.
So let's talk about Samuel M. Raimi for a minute. He was born October 23rd, 1959 in Royal Oak, Michigan. He's an American filmmaker.
He's from your neck of the woods.
Yes, Michigan. Yeah, he's got leeches on him. Don't go swimming. Sorry. I guess I should have waited till you took the drink.
So got me off guard.
I certainly
that in the podcast.
Yeah, I certainly was not expecting that.
So he comes from a conservative Jewish family who were merchants. And I'm not exactly sure what merchants meant. I didn't really go any deeper than that they were merchants. His mother, Celia Barbara, and his father, Leonard Ronald Raimi. And this was kind of interesting. His brother, Ted, is an actor.
I love Ted so much.
He has another brother,
Ivan.
Ivan does screenwriting and is also a physician. Has a sister, Andrea, who's a court reporter. I'm assuming these are still accurate, but I don't know. And then he has a brother, Sander, who actually passed away at 15 from accidental drowning. And he had talked about Sander as he first introduced him to Spider-Man comics. And that's kind of what ignited this.
The love of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat. So what about Sam Raimi's directing style? What makes him unique from any other director what does he use? What does he like?
So I don't know if this is still true today, but he was kind of known for just kind of pushing his actors and kind of abusing them, not necessarily in a malicious way, but kind of like in a way of just like messing with, like he did so many things to mess with Bruce Campbell while they were on set, like slapping him with tree branches and just all sorts of weird, goofy stuff.
I think they had been best friends since high school.
Yes.
They're both up for it.
Yeah. But, it's always so funny is that Bruce Campbell always, gave it back to Sam Raimi, playing pranks on each other and goofing off and stuff like that. During the first Evil Dead movie, Sam Raimi was 20 years old and Bruce Campbell was 21.
Oh,
so
I think Sam Raimi was 19.
Was he 19?
Yeah.
But they were very, very young. They'd been doing stuff, for a long time. Yeah, you were right. Friends since high school. Remember me telling you that Spider-Man story with Tobey Maguire?
I don't know.
Bruce Campbell was doing an interview for some sort of like Comic-Con panel or something like that. And he was on the set for Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire's like, "Oh, hey, you're Sam Raimi's high school friend." And he goes, "Oh, high school friend. That's what I'm known as on set. Like I'm not Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead. I'm just Sam's high school friend."
Right.
And then he's on the set for Spider-Man 2, and Tobey Maguire's like, "Oh, hey, Bruce Campbell, right?" He goes, Yeah, that's right. I'm Bruce Campbell." And he goes, So you're back playing another character?" He goes, "Yeah, Toby. That's what acting is. I play another character."
Right.
And then in the third Spider-Man movie, Bruce Campbell walks on set and Tobey Maguire goes, "Oh, of course, wouldn't be a Spider-Man movie without Bruce Campbell." And he's like, "You're damn right it wouldn't." So
I think he's totally right about that too.
Yeah, it's so fun that no matter what Sam Raimi does, Bruce Campbell is always there. In a small thing, big thing, it doesn't matter.
I think I had read that he is in some way in almost all of Sam Raimi's movies. Cameo appearance, something. He's in something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what we were talking about with the Utah folks. Is that you guys create these friendships, you guys create these, collaborations, and these are people that you might work with for the rest of your career. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully the hope for me is that I get to work with them too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to, is that I know that even though I might, moving back to LA or wherever I might go, maybe New York later, something like that. The hope is that I could call and say, "Hey, I want to make a movie," and they'll go, "All right, how much?" But they'll still want to do it too.
Yeah. Matt hops on a plane with his camera. Alec hops on a plane with his mic. Matt's wife is sitting at the computer ready to color the footage. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the hope. And that's why I like Sam. That's why I also admire Sam Raimi. Like you just said, it's that I mean, I think he embodies of like what I think these guys, including people like Spielberg and Scorsese and all these guys, but like Sam Raimi, what you said, was he 19 when he was making Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, 19. They're making this, and you see behind the scenes footage. At one point, they lost the clapper, so they used one of the camera boxes as the clapper. You
A
know,
lot of stuff went wrong on that set.
yeah, everything went wrong, but it's like these guys were just doing it because they wanted to, and Bruce and him were like, "We're just, yeah, throw me into the wall and then throw branches at me and then have
Yeah.
a dresser fall on me, like, because it's just let's just do it because it's fun, and like that's what it should be. It should
And
be
these guys turned over every freaking stone, every nook, every cranny to find every possible red cent that they could put towards making this movie. The proof of concept for Evil Dead was called Within the Woods or Into the Woods. I can't remember the exact title.
the book of the. Oh, you mean
The very
short,
first thing
like,
that the short
8
film.
millimeter, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was called Into the Woods.
Pretty sure that's a musical.
But it was, it was a Evil Dead prototype. And I was watching a video this morning while I was eating breakfast, where the guy was talking about that the cost of making that short film was $7,000 adjusted for inflation. So it was way less than,
Dang.
yeah. So he's like, imagine making something, with 7,000 of your own dollars and then turning that into 5 Evil Dead movies and 3 Spider-Man movies and Darkman with Liam Neeson and
Give me the elephant.
I don't know that reference. I haven't seen Darkman yet, but that sounded like Liam Neeson. So
that sounded right. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I had read to help get Evil Dead going, Bruce Campbell actually put up his family property as collateral
Ooh, wow.
to help
Did he?
secure some money to get it made.
Jeez.
What was the budget on the first Evil Dead movie? It was
like
I want to say
$150,000.
yeah, I want to say 300,000.
Yeah, and I know that it's funny because you'll talk. Somebody's like, "Oh, that's a lot of money." I'm like, I mean, it is, but for a film, that's
Yeah.
I don't even
For
know
something that's considered a cult classic, like
Yeah.
375,000.
and then I think for the second one it went up to somewhere around 3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that a lot of that is film stock, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't have to worry about nowadays, which is nice. But I mean, you still have to worry about hard drive space, but yeah, the days of worrying about having enough film stock to get your movie, that those days are gone.
Yeah.
Which kind of has a disadvantage. There's this argument that people are talking about online and in film community circles about training directors and cinematographers on digital. It kind of lessens the art in a way, saying about how when you were shooting on film, you were much more deliberate because you only had so much film, so you had to make every shot count. And so nowadays people are just shooting every possible thing from every possible angle because they don't know what they're going to want in post, rather than being deliberate and, making choices. How do you feel about that?
I am in that realm of. I don't know if I've talked to you, Alec, much about it, but I've certainly
You don't
talked
talk to me.
Yeah, I don't talk to you just at all.
Ever.
I'm sorry, I'll talk to you more. No, but with film, I am a huge pro analog guy. I love film. I do a lot of film photography, and I know it's interesting because I feel, though, with that argument, I do feel kind of balanced because with my dad, he was on shooting NCIS. He pushed to shoot on film still for as long as he could until finally they said, no, we're gonna move over to digital for cameras. And he said when he did, he goes, I loved it. I thought it was great. And it did, especially for television in this case, it certainly helped speed up the process. Just being able to be ready and get every shot and do everything you needed, a little bit less money. It's still quite a bit with rental, since if you rent a camera, but you can own it, and you won't have to worry about it. Like you said, the only thing you'd worry about is hard drive space. But with that, I do believe in that philosophy, just because part of it is that I like the look and the texture of film. I like the fact that I can hold it and look at it. I like the fact you can come with different stocks. So sometimes they come with different colors, different variations. 16 millimeter has kind of a more pastel and a grainy, gritty look that, I mean, was shot on Evil Dead, right?
Mhm.
Was
Yeah.
shot on 16 mil. And then, you can blow it up with IMAX going up to 70 millimeter, which is a higher resolution than the highest resolution digital camera we have today. But I know that a lot of people argue for a lot of different reasons, and I find both sides to be valid because, I mean, look, you can argue as much as you want, but then you get somebody like Roger Deakins, who steps into the picture,
Awesome.
and he is the master cinematographer, and he only uses digital now, and it's
He
amazing.
made a camera basically with the Alexa Mini LF. That was his creation that he.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't build it by hand, but he had Arri make it for him because he wanted it specifically for 1917 because of the shots he wanted to do. He couldn't achieve on the bigger Arri cameras.
Oh.
Yeah. And like that's I think amazing that he's that innovative, but he still manages to make it any image look amazing. But I do also feel like for me with film, it's like when I do film photography, I am a lot more deliberate with what I take a picture of. And of course, most of the pictures I take look like crap. But when I get one that looks a little bit good, I'm like, oh my, that's it. That's why I do this.
Yeah. That's why I started shooting on film cameras, is because I'm not going to shoot there's no way I'd be able to afford shooting a movie on film. But if I can start shooting pictures on film, it would help me be better at composition and making the shot count. And so that's why I started doing that. That was my intention for film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that my dream is, hopefully, I know this is a long shot, and who even knows if I could make it in film, but I want to get to that point to where I am shooting every project on film. A lot of it has to do, and like doing it, I mean, going down to even like, I would want to try a hand at editing, cutting on film. I know everyone's like, oh, it's, yeah, you say that, but it's like, the biggest thing for me is that it's fun. It's just like, I'm shooting
fun, Jan.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much fun, Jan. Yeah.
I love that clip. Dude, Quentin Tarantino he's my guy. We need to do another Quentin Tarantino episode. That was always so fun.
I have another one planned.
Do you?
So this argument that's brewing in the industry that you're talking about, I can kind of understand it, because I remember when I used to make my phone calls on a rotary phone, and then they came out with the smartphone. I'm like, no way. There's no way I'm giving up my little dial thing with the numbers, and I turn it, and an operator comes on and says, who are you trying to call? Area code. There's no way I'm going to a smartphone. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you remember when you used to take the phone off the wall and put one to your ear and one to your mouth? Operator.
Right.
Yeah. Get me Klondike 7515.
Yeah, it's an interesting, I know it's an interesting debate, and the thing is, it's one of those things where it's part of the medium, right? It's just at a point, it's gotten now to a point where it's like, digital was rough when it first started. It didn't look as good. There was a lot of things, but now it's so good. You can have a Sony mini pocket cinema camera, and it looks amazing, like Matt has. But ultimately, then it's just like, it's just preference. And you know what? Like, it's kind of, that's why it's like the argument with like, oh, 2D hand drawn animation doesn't matter anymore. It's like, yes, it does.
Yeah, it's still
does it do?
It's still a medium that's valid and that people love it, and they like. I mean, there was actually I just read an article the other day about how there is a small little group of animators at Disney who were like just dabbling with like 2D hand-drawn animation, and some higher up walked in and saw them messing with this and goes, "You guys want to do a 2D project? Like, we can get a little money put together. We can like do something." And so they decided, yeah, let's do 2D hand-drawn animation. And
that makes me happy. That's because that's like, again, I'm all for the art form. It's not even that I'm against, like I said, I'm not against digital. I'm not against 3D. Look, digital is what we shot The Journalist on digital. It's utilized so well for
digital
guys
is how we're doing this podcast right now.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, yeah, with this camera, it's amazing. But then it's like, if I'm able to, and I would love to have a hand at that, because it's like, it's just fun. That's why we're doing this, isn't it? It's to have fun, to enjoy. We're playing around. We're literally getting paid to play.
Yeah.
Stories and play acting and whatever. It's like, might as well just do it, give it a try. Yeah, I'm a big fan of film. I love it. I hope to make something on film soon.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
So Sam Raimi, highly dynamic visual style. They talk about visual flair, blending horror and comedy together in a comic book influenced aesthetic, fast-paced camera work, unique angles, rigs, and a strong use of jump scare cuts.
So you see a lot of the really cool angles in the first Evil Dead. He's doing some weird stuff. With
I was talking to Dad about it when we were watching it.
About halfway through.
Yeah, it's just like halfway through things change. Once Linda's dead and gone.
Forget Linda. Get her out of here.
Right.
And we don't want Linda.
And it kind of becomes Ash central.
Well, it's really weird. You talk about Linda. I don't think it is Linda. I think it's Scotty. I think the movie is like Scotty's movie until they kill him. It's like that Psycho thing where you think, what's her name? Was it Janet Leigh was going to be the lead, and then they kill her off midway through? Like when I watched Evil Dead, I saw Bruce Campbell. I was like, oh, here he is. Here's Bruce Campbell. But he seems like such a side character.
Like Alien.
Yeah, until halfway through, and then he becomes the hero.
Well, that's what I mean is when like halfway through, when it starts to change and become a Bruce Campbell central movie, is kind of when I don't know, it's like, it seems almost like either they changed cinematographers halfway through, or their budget increased halfway through,
right,
or they just figured out what they were doing halfway through.
Yeah,
because the camera angles start getting like more tight and like
experimental.
Yeah, but they also work better.
Huh.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting because I feel like, I know that, of course, as we talked about earlier, notoriously, how during the filmmaking there were so many different stories, and like people would complain. I watched this thing about how like in these like journals that people would write and about the project, they're like, everything is going wrong. Sam Raimi is not a good director. He's not doing this right. He's not doing any. He's neglecting this and ignoring that and stuff. And the only person that really stood by his side was Bruce Campbell. And I think that's almost why, like halfway through, the only person who was really willing to be subjected to everything was Bruce.
Was Bruce Campbell.
So was Bruce Campbell. Because I noticed that too. And that's, it gets like fun throughout. I keep saying the word fun, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It gets like scary and crazy halfway through with these camera angles and what he's doing, and like building this suspense for so long, and then when something scares you, it's scary. It's not just, oh no.
And speaking of cameras and experimental stuff, that's when Bruce Campbell and his camera team put together their little Podunk camera rig that they use for the Deadite that chases people. They just put a camera on a 2x4 and just had two guys just run with this camera. And then for the water shot, they put a guy on like a boogie board. They just pulled him over the water, and he just was riding on the boogie board getting these shots.
That's how they did that. Oh my gosh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really
that
cool.
Behind the scenes video of Matt running with the Airy popped up on my feed. And I was like, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that shot was unquestionably from Evil Dead. Like that.
Yeah.
That's why
I mean, that's what you said to him. You were like, I want this to look like Evil Dead.
Yeah. Did I?
Yeah. Because that's the moment that I was like, oh, I know where this is going. Is once you said that.
Yeah, it was so much fun doing that, because when I thought of the concept for The Journalist, because I although it was something, of course, with the public domain, it's like, I want to, I have to choose like these works and stuff, and I have to make sure they make sense and apply to it, adapting them. I really wanted to do, for whatever reason, I was like, I really want to do a horror film. Like, I don't know, I think it'd be fun to scare people, like, which I wasn't really interested in before. I can't consider myself like a huge horror fan, but when it comes to Evil Dead, that franchise, it's like, that's like amazing to me.
Well, so it's because you can be a horror fan and like any horror movie, but for some reason you could not be a horror fan, but if you're a filmmaking fan, you still love Evil Dead. There's just something about filmmaking that,
about that style, and I don't know. Maybe it's just being impressed with the fact that they did it with nothing.
that you have limitations, that you're pulling out all the stops, that you're getting your friends together, that it's literally scraping the bottom of the barrel to get this project made,
and then using the barrel.
Yeah, and then putting the camera operator on the barrel and rolling him down the
Well, I think it's also because almost every filmmaker is at heart an independent filmmaker. There are those select few who were born into the industry and got their fancy tools.
Yeah, and
baby's first Airy is what it seems like sometimes.
Baby's first Airy.
I think looking at what they accomplish is like, this is how everyone sees their first film. Like when I watch Bump, it's like, this is our Evil Dead. It's not on the same caliber, but it's like, to make something that was just your money and all the resources that you have and some stupid little idea with your friends, and then have it blow up like that, is like, that's kind of what everyone kind of wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Alec and I watched The Evil Dead. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 2 days ago. I can't remember.
So when they were rolling the credits, there were a bunch of fake Shemps.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite credits in any horror movie, by the way.
And I'm like, Alec, what is a fake Shemp? What is all this? And so then he's talking about, well, this is what happened.
Yeah. And I think, we were talking about the stuff that Bruce Campbell went through and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of what sets the good filmmakers apart from the bad ones. You kind of get out of it what you put into it. And so when we have our little, Utah community with Matt and those people, it's because those are the people who are putting in the most.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're getting out the most. And even someone who's not a film major like you, who's putting in more than I'd say a lot of the film majors do, because this is what you want to do and you want to get out what you put into it. And so going back to fake Shemps, they got put through a lot in this movie.
These other actors.
And by the end of it, pretty much every other actor except for Bruce Campbell had left because they couldn't handle it anymore. There wasn't running water. There were like 2 bedrooms. And so a lot of them had to sleep on the floor, and it was cold, and they were being doused in fake blood like every other shot.
Just like syrup with like honey and stuff, and it's like sticky and gross.
Yeah, and they're out in the woods of Michigan, probably about to be attacked by bears because they smell like honey.
Tennessee.
Well, the cabin was in Oh, you're right.
Oh yeah, I was in Tennessee.
It was the cellar was in Michigan because a lot of the stuff they shot with the cellar was in a different location.
Yeah, because the cellar in the cabin isn't a real cellar. I don't know if
it
you
goes
guys
like
knew
2
that.
feet deep.
It's 8 feet.
Yeah, they
Is
dug
it 8
it.
feet?
Yeah, it was an 8-foot deep hole that just led into a hole. So people would walk into this thing and they would go through this hole in Tennessee and come out in a cellar in Michigan. So
But you see, I mean, the fact that they managed to make that look like it, like the thing when I first saw that, I didn't even think about it. And for something as cheesy and low budget as it was, the fact that Sam Raimi was, I think, and talk about, as you said earlier, with people who get, they'll do a billion shots because they don't know what they want now. And I'm like, at a time where, especially in this case, they went way too long filming. They went like year by year at a point. I think they would come back like 8 months later to continue filming some stuff. So their haircuts are different and they look a bit different. But
we had some of that with Christian, didn't we? When we did,
we had a little
Goatman?
bit of that with Christian. We mostly had it with Riley. That's Goatman is like our Evil Dead.
Have you heard about Goatman?
No one's heard about Goatman.
Like the Goatman or the movie?
Alex short film Goatman.
My directorial debut that'll never come out.
What?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about this.
I did not.
You don't talk to me.
Yeah.
It was a horror short
Look
film.
how he threw that right back at you.
A horror short film that I wrote and directed and acted in when I was 20.
And talk about, Evil Dead and people dropping out.
Yeah.
This project started
we have fake Shemps in the credits for it.
We have like 50 people, okay, starting this project with us. Maybe not 50, but we had a lot.
I think we had on like behind the scenes, we had about 15 to 20 people helping out on it.
Yeah. And by the end of this project, we pick it up every 8 months. We go back to Canyon Hill Cemetery and climb down that cliff and go shoot some footage because we shot most of it in Nampa, Idaho on a farm. And then we lost the farm. We weren't able to go back and film stuff. So we ended up climbing down this cliff face with cameras and C-stands and lights. And so we're just going up the cliff, grabbing a C-stand, going down the cliff, going up a cliff, grabbing the camera, going down the cliff. It was the biggest nightmare of my entire life, and I will never shoot at Canyon Hill Cemetery ever again.
You say that every time, and then we end up back there.
I am never going back there. I will never shoot something there ever again.
Say that in 8 months.
Yeah. But literally, the project, I think our last day of shooting was just the lead actress and just the two of us, right?
I think so, yeah.
And maybe Christian was there.
I think Christian was there. Because he might have been acting in the Goatman suit, even though he wasn't originally Goatman.
Yeah. Our one of our lead actors was cast as one character and then ended up having to play the Goatman because all of our Goatmen kept dropping out. So we have like 7 different Goatmen in the credits. And then the final Goatman is our friend Christian, who's been on the podcast before and who'll definitely be back. And so, and it's really cool is that Christian, who just started off as an actor on Goatman, ended up becoming a producer essentially because he was the driving force. He's like, we got to get Goatman done. We got to, finish this. We got to finish that. And he helped motivate us and keep us going.
I think it's funny where people come from, just like who end up in your filmmaking circle. Because I remember I had written like the first or second draft of Goatman, and we were in YMCA working out or something. And I saw Christian there, and I was like, oh, hey, this is my friend from high school.
I went to school with that guy.
Yeah, I was like, he was a theater kid. He was the lead in Hamlet. Maybe he wants to be in it. And I asked him to be in it. And now he helps out on like every film project. And it's like, it's so crazy.
He was in Fubar
Yeah.
when we shot that and Goatman.
It's weird how people just.
Yeah. And he's a big time collaborator now. And it's crazy is that when I think of the people of Rat's Nest Productions, he's one of the ones that pops into my head. Jared Lauder.
Oh, Jared Lauder. Okay.
Jared Lauder pops into my head when I think of who is Rat's Nest.
Yeah, Christian and Jared. I mean,
Yeah.
Because they're kind of the people who are just willing to help out with any project.
Dude, like if Jared will call in sick to work on a Rat's Nest project. He's done it before.
Yeah.
I love that about him.
Those are the people you want to be able to help out on anything that you do. I mean, she's also the lead in Hamlet. I mean, that's something.
That's no small
you
feat.
gotta have him on the project.
Lead in Hamlet at Middleton High School. That's not like
No,
don't downplay it.
Hamlet.
Yeah. What is everyone's preference on the Evil Dead movies? Who likes 1 better and who likes 2 better? Because almost the entire world likes 2 better.
Yeah.
But I think 1 is my favorite.
I would agree that 2 is better.
I think, wow, that's a hard one because I probably would say 2. I really like 2 a lot, but the thing is, I really like I feel like I've seen the first one more because I keep going back to it. There's something that draws me to it because I suppose it's the fact that it looks more horror, grimy, and it's impressive how they did it. But I also, some of those. But then, in the second one, they gave them a little bit more of a budget, but it was still pretty low. But they're just running around with this camera on like the widest lens, chasing Bruce Campbell through the entire house.
The camera was definitely on him a lot.
You have probably seen it, and you might have seen it, but I don't think you caught it. Did you notice that when the camera is chasing him through the cabin in Evil Dead 2, the camera kind of tilts up a little bit, and you can see that they're in a set, that like there's no roof for the there's no ceiling.
Oh,
and you can look up, and they're inside this high school gymnasium. And so you can see,
I didn't notice.
You can see the gymnasium of the school.
That's where they did it?
Yeah, they built a cabin inside a high school gymnasium.
Because the original cabin got torn down, fairly soon after they shot the first one, right?
Yeah, so they had to build a new cabin to serve as the exterior in the second movie. And then they built a cabin inside a gym to serve as the interior. And so when the camera is chasing Bruce Campbell, you can look up and see they got rafters that are holding the setup.
So I am not a horror film person. I don't really enjoy them that much. And if I didn't have a podcast, I probably wouldn't be watching any of these movies.
Oh, you'll love Hereditary.
Ever.
Just wait.
But in the interest of the podcast and stuff, I watched them. I think I liked the second one a little better, mostly because it had more special effects.
Higher production value.
Yeah, it just seemed a higher quality thing. They were both very cartoonish and cheesy to me. And
I think that's out of necessity for part 1 and out of design for part 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that
Dancing Linda.
Yeah, you couldn't do much with the budget you had in part 1, so it was a little cheesy. And then in part 2, they leaned into the cheese and decided to make it, a little goofy and a little silly. Part 3, just full on comedy.
I lied. Straight. Not part 2. I think Army of Darkness is probably the best.
Dude, I love Army of Darkness is so fun, and that's the first one.
It's not even scary. No. It's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, the Army of Darkness character, when we got done watching part 2, I said, "Hey, that looks like the Army of Darkness guy."
Yeah, it took that a while to catch on. He puts the chainsaw on his arm and says groovy. And Dad, after he says groovy, Dad's like, "Hey, that's Army of Darkness."
Yeah. So you had no idea?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Army of Darkness was part 3?
Yeah, no.
But you like Army of Darkness, right?
I haven't seen it.
Oh. Really?
No, I just saw the poster for it. And so then I'm like, hey, that looks like the guy on that poster for Army of Darkness.
It's a very famous poster.
Yeah. Where he's like shredded with just crazy.
It looks like a romance. Someone said, it's a romance novel. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what that poster is.
So the first one, despite all the controversy that came from it and the woods scene that was a little rough to take. And there were a lot of goofs in it. But I guess Stephen King watched it and gave a glowing endorsement for it. He absolutely loved it. In fact, he was instrumental in getting the second one put together, getting money for it.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing I read?
Also an old woman. Have you heard that story?
It's considered one of the greatest horror films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Evil Dead 2, it's like you said, how it embraces the cheesiness of the first one. I think it balances, like, it turns, it's fun. It's like a fun horror. That's what I like about these movies, is that I can watch them. Although the reboot 2013 one was like, oh my gosh, there's some moments I was like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Loved that movie. I like it better than Rise.
I would agree.
Really? I liked Rise a lot. I really liked Rise a lot. But the thing is it turned into this franchise of, like, it's funny in some parts, but it's genuinely scary and terrifying in others. But 2 was like, I mean, it has all the iconic moments in it.
It was a nice balance between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the groovy and how, with the chainsaw hand or I'll swallow your soul. And you swallow this, and you're like, this is amazing.
Speaking of that Henrietta character, I'll swallow your soul. That's Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's the little brother.
Okay.
Inside all that heavy makeup. And gosh, they put him through so much for, like, there's a part where, like, Henrietta is on this cable and flying through the air. And if you watch just carefully, you can see this white gooey liquid leaking out of the costume's ears. And that's sweat that is pouring out of the costume.
Oh, geez.
And it was so hot in that costume that, it would just leak out of the prosthetic ears, and Ted would be like, I need a break, Sam. I need a break. And he's like, we don't have time for breaks. We got to keep going.
That's
and
right.
you can only do that to your little brother. You can't do that to anybody else.
Speaking of, he was also a fake Shemp in the first one.
Yeah.
So back to what we were talking about with fake Shemps. It's been a while since we talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
But fake Shemp is basically a term that Sam Raimi coined that means a stand-in for someone who is basically not available, so someone else has to essentially play them on camera, using some sort of trickery to not show it.
And the term comes from the Three Stooges, who Shemp was one of the original Stooges, who then got replaced by his younger brother, Curly. And Curly is one of the most famous Stooges. When you talk about Three Stooges, nobody thinks about Shemp. But then
I think about Shemp.
Oh, I love Shemp. I love Shemp way more than Curly. So then
I think about Curly, Mo, and who's the other Mark's brother?
Yeah. But Shemp passed away, and a lot of the stuff they had filmed most of it, and then Shemp passed away, and they couldn't finish a lot of the stuff, so they had to get a fake Shemp, essentially. I think there's even a scene where I think Curly plays Shemp, or maybe he doesn't play Shemp, but he plays like another character, like he had lost a ton of weight and was sick and stuff like that. So it wasn't long after that, Curly passed away. But yeah, they had to do a lot of replacement stuff with those three. And the Three Stooges, a lot of people don't know this, they were basically slaves. I mean, they had this contract that they couldn't get out of, and they were just forced to work constantly, and it was really rough on them.
Mm-hmm.
But we could talk more about Evil Dead if you like.
Well, that's what it was like on the Evil Dead. They were basically slaves.
Ted Raimi was a slave.
So the tape recorder that was in both, my understanding that was Campbell's father's tape recorder. That's where that tape recorder came from.
I noticed this time around that it was the same tape recorder both times. Yeah. So I was like, oh, hey, that's weird.
I mean, it's the same car because it's
car.
Sam Raimi's car.
Yeah.
Which he uses in everything.
Yeah. Uncle Ben's car, right?
Uncle Ben's car.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's so funny is that's just, Sam Raimi's calling card now, but before it was born out of necessity. We needed a car, So we used Sam Raimi's car.
We needed a car and we needed an actor. So we got Sam Raimi's car and Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. We needed an actor and we needed a car. So we borrowed Diamond's car.
Yeah.
And we got Christian.
We got Christian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's funny how Christian's kind of like our Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. I had read, but I didn't put it on my notes, that Bruce Campbell got hurt a few times. I think a cameraman slipped and smashed into Bruce Campbell's face.
They should have kept that in.
Broke some teeth.
Ooh, wow.
And the final scene in Evil Dead, the first one, when the monster comes through the house and smashes into Bruce Campbell, I think he got hurt. He lost
the rest of his teeth.
I think I'd read that he hurt his ribs or broke a rib or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some other things in there, like when Linda is scratching his leg when she comes out of the grave. They had to do that over and over again, and she actually ended up like
tearing through
him and like damaging her fingernails. Like some of her fingernails were like bent back because she was like scratching his leg. And he like had legitimate scratches and blood on his leg from it. And
nice.
Jeez.
And then they would like douse him in blood and then get done with the scene. And Sam's like, all right, I'm going to go eat. And then they would have Bruce Campbell jump into the back of a truck covered in blood because he couldn't sit in the seats.
Oh, jeez.
So, and they would drive him into town miles away.
Covered in blood.
To get washed up.
Covered in blood. And they're like, you okay? And he's like, yeah. That was fine. Nothing happened.
It's really funny is you're talking about sending Bruce Campbell out to go get cleaned up. On Evil Dead Rise, they had like honey wagon showers, essentially. They had a bunch of trailers that had showers in them that people could, while they were on set, finish up, jump into the showers, and then go get cleaned up. So they learned their lesson eventually.
Yeah, it only took until Rise.
Yeah, right.
All the other ones, though.
Yeah.
So this part, I wasn't sure because I don't remember it. I have a note here. The medieval monk in the final scene is wearing a Fremen costume from Dune, the 1984 Dune. I don't remember the monk, but
you remember the knights.
I do remember the knights. I just don't remember the monk.
Are we getting a fun fact here?
I'm trying to...
No? Do you know who the knight was?
No.
There's a knight at the end of Evil Dead 2. Yeah. Who goes, "You had to deliver us from the Deadites." That's Sam Raimi.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. He does a lot of cameos.
Amazing. I know that in Spider-Man 2, you can't see his face, but it's a cameo. When Peter, he drops all his books and then like there are backpacks that hit him as he's sitting there.
Raimi
One of them is Sam Raimi. I'm like,
head.
Of course, leave it to him abusing his main actor.
Yeah.
There's that behind the scene, like that blooper of him just like slamming him in the head.
The backpack hits him in the head, and it's just these heavy books. Boom, boom, hits him right in the face. And then the strap of the backpack wraps around Tobey Maguire's throat and drags him off camera. Yeah, it's so great. Also, I know we're not talking about Evil Dead, but Sam Raimi has another cameo. We
are talking about Evil Dead.
Sorry, Army of Darkness. I apologize. In Army of Darkness, Sam Raimi is the voice of Evil Ash after he gets all his skin burned off and he's just the skeleton.
Oh.
But Evil Ash with the skin on is Bruce Campbell.
I would hope so. It looks like him.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to a restaurant and order that. Can I get an Evil Ash with the skin on?
Skin on. I love the Spider-Man movies, and I think it's really cool and kind of interesting when a director he made these Evil Dead horror movies and then switches gear and makes these fantastic Spider-Man movies.
It's incredible that this guy and his buddy could put their life and soul into getting this low-budget, rinky-dink little movie made and then leverage that into making 3 Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he also got to do, does anybody really...
Are we talking about The Wizard of Oz?
No, we're not talking about Oz the Great and Powerful.
I still need to see that.
Does anybody really direct a Marvel movie nowadays? Because he also got to do the second
Multiverse of Madness, right?
Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, which Which honestly, I don't think that it sucks because I don't think the story is very good in that film, but the direction and the scary parts and
Yeah, you can see a
great.
lot of Raimi-isms in it.
And it's amazing. That's why I was like, dang, like this is gonna like it's there. What could have been, but wasn't.
The problem with modern Marvel is that all the directors are mercenaries. They are hired guns that are just put in there to just direct the movie. And it's really weird, is that it's almost a recreation of the old school studio system where you hired one guy to be a writer, you hired one guy to be the director, and the producer was in charge of everything. The director would direct the movie, and then after the movie was done, they would leave. They wouldn't be in the editing room. They wouldn't be like the whole auteur theory.
He'd get his $100 and he'd move on to the next movie.
Yeah, the auteur theory has just been removed from Marvel. Like the director does not have any say, does not have any authorship.
Haven't gotten that since Jon Favreau.
Yeah, you get a lot of these guys who end up finishing their Marvel movie and then they go and do something else, and that's incredible because they actually have a say over it. So I guess the whole thing with Marvel is that it's like paying your dues. You go in, you direct a couple rinky-dink movies that get you your Marvel movie, you play nice, you direct your Marvel movie, take the paycheck, and then go make what you want to make.
But it was cool that at the with the Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, I think I consider them to be some of the best, putting aside the Dark Knight trilogy, which I mean obviously those are great superhero movies, but if we're going to talk about superhero movies with powers, I really do think that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are, the second one especially is like the best in that genre and what it is, because I think it's just a great story and great character and great action. Like that's the thing. And you can talk about, Sam Raimi-isms in it. There's like, with the arms and the hospital scene, and it's the same. It's like it's the point of view and it's chasing these people around and like these jump scares that seemingly come out of nowhere. There's a shot exactly like in the first Evil Dead where you remember the part where he looks out the window and it shows and then it spins around him and shows the other side of where he's looking and there's nothing there. He's like looking for.
Yeah.
Do you remember? But there's a shot exactly like that where Harry hears something, so he steps outside and it does the exact same move as the first Evil Dead. And I'm like, you get a great director and you get a great story and you put them together and you have a classic and a masterpiece. And I think he really did it there. But I mean, this was also at a time where they used, it wasn't, there was CG, but it wasn't, they used practical effects and real arms for Doc Ock and all that. And that's what it is. I think it's just amazing. Sam Raimi, man. So good.
King of practical effects. Loves practical effects. Good stuff. We are about an hour and 30 in. Okay. Do we want to rank these movies, rate them?
So does anybody have anything else they'd like to add about Sam Raimi or the two movies?
I just want to say, because we were talking about the criticism that it got, and I mentioned the old woman, and asked if you knew that story.
I don't know that story. Who's the old woman?
They showed The Evil Dead in their hometown, I think, in like a small theater, and a lot of people there didn't like it. And a lot of people walked out halfway through it because it was too much for them.
Yeah, that checks out.
And a lot of it was like younger people to middle age, but they said after it got done, people were coming up and talking to them. And then they saw this little old woman, like 70 to 80 years old, come walking up to them. And they were like, oh no, we're about to get an earful.
She's going to tear us a new one?
Yeah, talk about how disgusting this movie was. And this woman walks up to them and says, that was just so wonderful. You know, you guys coming together and making this movie. You just did such a good job on this.
Wow.
And they're like, that is not what I expected this woman to say.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I hope to get that if I ever make an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
Just an old lady walking up to me and like, wow, you did so good. I'm like,
she'll get put on the poster. This was done really well. Quote, old lady at premiere.
4 stars.
Another question I have is during what Sam Raimi movie did everyone see Evil Dead? Because, Dallin, you said you saw it as Evil Dead Rise was coming out, like right before it came out, right?
Mm-hmm. I watched all the Evil Dead movies, including the remake, prepare
in preparation. Okay, I saw the Evil Dead movies before Evil Dead 2013 had come out.
You saw it right after Drag Me to Hell came out, right? Because it was around 2009.
2010.
Yeah. So Drag Me to Hell came out in 2009.
And I have not seen Drag Me to Hell yet. I heard it was a comedy. And like every trailer I've ever seen, I was like, that's a horror movie.
The trailer gave me nightmares. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
I don't remember what movie we were watching. It might have been when we saw I Am Legend in theaters. I can't remember. We were seeing some slightly scary movie, and there was a trailer for that movie in there. And that creepy old woman that's in the trailer, I would have nightmares that she was in my room or in my bed when I was like 8 years old.
Jeez. Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer for that movie in years. I've never seen the movie, but anytime I'm like, oh man, that's a scary movie I need to watch. And everyone's like, man, that movie's so funny. I love that movie. One of the best comedies of all time. I was like, what in the world are we talking about here?
I mean, if it's Sam Raimi.
Yeah, I guess.
There's a good chance that it's a horror comedy.
Yeah, and it's got, what's his name in it? The little nerd from Galaxy Quest. Justin Long.
Yeah, people are calling him like the horror movie guy now because he's just in every horror movie.
Yeah, and he always seems to play like kind of like a goofy character.
Weren't you talking about one of his recent ones, Barbarian?
Yeah, Barbarian. Yeah, which and you see
he was a weasel in that.
Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, that movie. He plays like this like goofball, like silly, he's not really aware of his surroundings and stuff, like this idiot and like this not good person. But it's like you're after watching like this crazy, terrible, scary, horrific scene, it cuts to him and you're like, what is going on? It's so weird.
Yeah, I need to see Barbarian.
Yeah.
I don't remember when I saw Evil Dead. I think I watched
I showed you Army of Darkness in around 2009, 2010.
You showed me Army of Darkness. I watched that one with you and Nicholas.
I didn't want him to see the 2 Evil Dead movies because they were a little crazy. Especially,
and I was 9.
Yeah, he was just a little guy. So I showed my 2 little brothers Army of Darkness, and that was the only one they had seen for quite a while. And they loved that movie.
And then I think in 2020 is when I watched the first Evil Dead.
It took you 10 more years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think I was laying right there on the ground, probably with the heater on, and I watched it. And then I watched Evil Dead 2, I think, the next day.
Nice. Did it frighten you as much as it did me, or you were like, no, I've seen worse?
Yeah, I don't think I had seen worse, but it still wasn't scary to me.
Yeah.
Hereditary set me up for like after that.
Yeah, it's kind of a high bar. I think the only 2 movies that I've been genuinely uneasy watching is Hereditary and The Blair Witch Project.
Screw that movie. I hate that.
I know you hate The Blair Witch Project.
That movie's so dumb. I hate that movie.
But I loved it, and it made me uneasy.
All right. Let's rank these things.
So are both of these considered cult classics? Do they have a following and
of course
the whole thing?
Oh yeah.
That's why they're still making movies out of them. They're coming out with a new one, in a year or 2?
Yeah, Evil Dead Romulus or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Is it a Star Trek?
It's an alien.
Yeah.
It's with Predator.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead versus Alien.
What is it called?
That would be a fun movie. I'd watch that. Evil Dead versus Alien.
Dude, there's so many crossovers that are on the table that no one has picked up yet. That
Imagine an alien getting possessed by a deadite. That would be scary.
That would be it. The movie, they're all done for.
Freddy versus Jason versus Ash was so close to being done that like they almost had a completed script, and they started getting cast and crew together, and then it completely fell through.
Ash would win, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Evil Dead Burn, set to release July 24th, 2026, directed by Sebastian Vanacek. And I know that he did another movie that was pretty successful. I don't know if it was successful in America, but it was about spiders. And
I ain't watching it then.
Enough.
it was it was a horror movie about spiders, and
Mom will love it.
Yeah.
they look really real. Like it was all CG, but I watched the trailer and it's.
So how are we
I
gonna
don't like spiders.
how are we gonna rank these?
How many fake Shemps out of 10?
Fake Shemps with the contact lens, the white contact lens.
Yeah.
Or how many gallons of fake blood?
Well, the first Evil Dead movie is one of my favorites. I would rank it 8.5 fake Shemps out of 10.
So the chainsaw cut one of them in half.
Yeah.
Okay,
Half a Shemp.
half a Shemp. Nice. How about you, Alec?
I would give the first one probably 6.5 fake
What?
Shemps. Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan. I think the second half of the first one, I'd say, is like an 8 or an 8.5. But I think the first half, especially the middle, like the second half of the first half, the second quarter, I think, just, I don't know. I don't like it as much. I think the first part like sets it up, and then the second part just kind of drags up until it gets to like it has stuff going on, but it feels like very empty stuff up until that point.
Until Cheryl gets possessed.
No, I'd say even after Cheryl getting possessed.
Oh, that drags for you?
Yeah, it like because it just feels like Cheryl gets possessed and then nothing much happens.
Well, and then there's like the tree scene.
Yeah, and then whatever Scotty's girlfriend's name is, she gets possessed, and then it feels like nothing really happens.
Oh, what is the girlfriend's name?
In the first one?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Cheryl,
Cheryl, Linda,
Linda,
and Shelley.
Shelley. Yeah. It's your sister Cheryl.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Between Cheryl getting possessed and Linda getting possessed, I'd say that stuff just kind of feels like they're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. It's like this person gets possessed and they freak out. And then this person gets possessed and they freak out. And then this person gets possessed and they freak out. Things start to change up and kind of progress in the story, I feel like, after he kills Linda.
Gotcha. So everyone goes home. Sam Raimi becomes a director.
Yeah.
And then he directs the second half of the movie.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. What about...
Did you grade the second one?
No.
I haven't graded the second one.
Oh, you
either.
haven't?
We're just doing the first one first.
How about you, Dallin?
I would give it a solid 8 full Shemps.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice hearty Shemps right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
No partial Shemps here.
Yeah.
No partial.
Dismembered Shemp.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to do like 3 Shemps and an arm.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
I get it.
I
I'm not
knew
the
you wouldn't
horror guy.
enjoy it going into it, and I definitely knew you didn't enjoy it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciated some things out of it. And I liked Bruce Campbell, but
Yeah. Bruce Campbell's a hoot.
I just could not get into it. And
Do you like Bruce Campbell post pumpkin pie haircut or? Because for the first like half of it, he's got that pumpkin pie haircut, and then the 8-month gap happens, and then he kind of gets like the stylized, a little more middle part.
Oh, it's when he gets that stylized haircut that's when you like the movie.
Yeah, pretty much, I'd say. Yeah.
Wait, that's when you notice it. Okay.
Bruce Campbell walks in with that new haircut, and Sam Raimi's like, let's direct the hell out of this thing.
We're going to make this good now.
You're my main character now.
Yeah.
Scotty, you're out of here.
Pumpkin pie haircut. That, Becca, if you're listening, that's for you.
pumpkin pie headed
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Evil Dead 2. I give it, maybe 8.5 Shemps. I like them. I like the first one better, but I like Evil Dead 2 a lot. It's still a really solid movie. 8.5 Shemps.
I would give Evil Dead 2 somewhere around about 8 Shemps.
Okay.
7.9 to 8 Shemps.
7.9
A Shemp with a missing finger.
Missing hand.
Yeah. Replace it with a chainsaw.
One of those Shemps is Peter Pettigrew. Just
yeah.
I would give it 8 Shemps and 1 cut off evil hand that chases.
Oh yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about that hand. That hand is, man, what a character.
That hand is a great actor alone. Yeah.
My favorite part is when he puts the bucket on him and then puts the books on it and it says a farewell to arms. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I was waiting for Dad to comment on it when we were watching it, and he didn't. So I leaned over and I was like,
Did you see that?
Did you see that? Did you get that? Did you get the reference? And Dad was like, yeah, farewell to arms.
Yeah, not funny. Not funny. All right. What do you got for Evil Dead 2, Dad?
I'd give it a solid 6.
Wow, that's
Shemps.
a lot better. I thought he was gonna do like a 5 or something. That I'll take.
Because it was funnier? Is that why you liked it more?
Well, there was some cartoonish stuff. I think I liked the camera work, and I liked the special effects a little bit better.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that they didn't have to show a bunch of nudity or go into this graphic stuff. And what was the other thing I really liked? Now I forgot what I liked about it.
The rainbow palette color of the blood.
Maybe that was it.
Why does it randomly change to green when who's that homie?
To avoid an X rating.
Really? I mean, the first one was already NC-17.
The red blood was bright cherry red. There was lots of black blood, green blood, just all sorts of different colors.
Blue blood, which I know is going to make Dad mad. He doesn't like when things
like
have blue blood.
Stuff,
yeah. But
I don't like aliens with blue stuff.
Yeah. Call back to a previous episode. But yeah, it was all done in the hopes of avoiding an X rating, and it got slapped with an X rating anyway.
Dang.
The second one?
Yeah.
Because I know the first one was NC-17.
You know the
NC-17 hadn't been around yet.
That was their X rating. I know it was X rated then, but like, it's funny because, I was wondering when they're like, oh, they're trying to avoid it, but there's that scene where she's holding on to what's his name, who's going into the cellar, and it's just
Jake.
Yeah.
By the way,
gallons of blood, and it's like so absurd and crazy. It's like,
how did a slug like Jake pull Bobby Joe? I don't get that.
I think that might be the other thing that I kind of liked about the show is I kind of liked those other characters coming in.
Yeah, different personalities and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I think when the part that Dad laughed the most at was Bobby Joe spitting out.
When she goes to spit her chewing tobacco or whatever it was.
It goes all over the front of her shirt.
It's down her chin. It's like,
you're an actress, huh? Yeah. Never spit before in her life. It's funny is that the guy that plays Jake, that slug of a man, I don't know why I'm ripping on him. He's great.
Yeah, you sound jealous.
Yeah. He was in another movie called, was it Maniac? Might have been Maniac. It could have been, Intruder. It's called Intruder. And it is not directed by Sam Raimi, but it stars Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, and Bruce Campbell. Yeah, so I think that's where they met the guy that plays Jake.
So then when was that done? Because the second one came out in what, 87?
Yeah.
87.
Intruder is early, like 82, 83.
So it was like right after the first.
It says 1989 in this.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Yeah.
Shoot, I could be wrong then.
Maybe he brought them onto the project.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
So any final thoughts on this? Or are we feeling good?
Yeah, I think if you have not seen the Evil Dead movies, the original trilogy is a fun watch if you're into horror. If you're not into horror, just watch Army of Darkness. That's a blast just by itself.
If you're into modern horror, watch Evil Dead 2013.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a good balance, Evil Dead Rise.
Nice.
One thing I like about Evil Dead Rise, it doesn't take place in a cabin, but it's still a locked-in movie.
Yeah.
So, Dallin, the stuff that you're working on, like The Journalist, is that out for people to see? Do you have some place where people can look at some of your work?
Yes, it is on my YouTube channel, which I don't remember the name of.
The YouTube channel is Dallin Webb.
It's I think Dallin Webb at DZ Webb. So if you want to watch it there.
What does the Z stand for? I've always wondered.
Zachary, it's my middle name.
Okay.
Dallin Zachary.
Now we
Webb.
got it. We got his middle name.
I shouldn't have told you
We
guys.
hacked into the mainframe we're in.
now you know all my secrets. Yeah. It's on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to watch it. I hope you like it.
That's Webb with 2 B's.
Webb with 2 B's, yeah.
Yes, Webb with 2 B's.
Yeah,
and
for everybody
spelled
listening to this,
ALLA.
I would recommend it. It's a good show.
If you're a fan of Evil Dead or that style of horror film or short films in general.
Or
or Dallin Webb.
Or Dallin Webb. There's
or
many
films where the sound was done by me.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're a fan of Alex Soundwork, give it a listen.
If you're a fan of harps, if you're a fan of Matt Arnson or Rachel Arnson,
I bet we have some fans of Matt Arnson on the show.
If you're a fan of Jimmy Moleman.
Jimmy Moleman.
Oh, Moleman, sorry.
Not Moleman.
Not Moleman, sorry.
Not Moleman, definitely not. If you are a fan of anything to do with movies or TV or cameras,
if you're a fan of anything,
if you are currently breathing,
if you're a fan of anything ever, go watch The Journalist, directed by Dallin Webb.
If you have eyes and ears, go watch
That's right. Go check it out.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was a blast talking to you, man.
Yeah, this was a pleasure. This was so fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. We're ready to
do the outro.
Take us on out of here?
Do it.
All right.
And we're gone.
It's your sister Cheryl. All right, buddy. All right, bye.
Thanks for listening to My Dad's Movie Podcast. We had a lot of fun creating it, and we hope you enjoyed it.
For more content, please check us out at Facebook and YouTube at My Dad's Movie Podcast, or visit our website, mydadsmoviepodcast.com.
And always, if you'd like to help support us, please check out our Patreon at My Dad's Movie Podcast.
Thanks for listening, everybody.